purpose of today's training is Facebook, how to become best friends with Facebook itself, become an influencer, and really pass on the message to our leads, create content, build relationships, see what's missing for those investors that we're reaching out, what are the best practices. And it's not really the technical part that we're talking about today. It's really the attitude towards who you're reaching out, how you're reaching out. Today's Facebook training, and Walter is a massive content creator and influencer, and it was him reaching out, responding, posting, connecting. So Walter, take the stage.
Let's simplify this. I am not a big influencer. I do not work hard. I don't put a lot of effort in. I really do just 1 or 2 posts a day, but I spend intention on them. Like, I care about the community who's reading. I care about what's going on in their world. And the reason my content is something that they like or they share is because I hit something in their soul or I hit something in their mind. And the only way I'm able to do that is I'm listening to what they're saying. I'm reading on the platform what they're typing, what they're liking, what they're sharing, and I'm recreating that in my own words. And that's what creates, this great content. And up until about 3 months ago, I only had 1,500 followers. So it wasn't my normal content that was working to grow. I would add about 10 people a week. So it was a very slow process of me reaching out to other people, finding out what's going on in their world, and then identifying something that we could do together. And then I would invite them to something I was doing. And that's how we built the community. It was me genuinely thinking, how do I find somebody who's like-minded? And then I would invite them to something that was interesting. Now, my intention for you, each one of you, is to become an influencer, to become somebody of influence, somebody that even if we're no longer working together, your asset, your profile is still a valuable asset to you. Hands to Karen, if that seems like a good idea, we're building a business here. You are the business. You are your personal brand. And so using your own personal account is going to be an asset for you. I'm not going to own these accounts if you and I ever decide to part ways. You still own your account. I have made all of my money from not me knowing people, but people knowing me. It's not about who you know. It's about who knows you. Who knows you, the individual, the person. And do they know what you sell? Do they know what you offer? Do they know how to find you? Do they know how to contact you? So with everything that we're doing, I want you to be thinking about you. Who are you? Who are you who could you be? Who could you become that is going to be so valuable that somebody's going to want to be around you? And that's been the journey for me on Facebook. I was broke when I started on Facebook. I had nothing. I had no knowledge. I literally was a nobody with nothing. And in a town that I knew nothing about, nobody knew me. But I would post, and then I would reach out to somebody and I would admire them. I would admire anybody who had something that I wanted. So if they're real estate investors, I was admiring them. If they were business owners, I was admiring them. If they're realtors who were doing really good, I would admire them. And I would share that I was really admiring their posts. I was admiring whatever they were doing. Oh, you went to the beach. That's awesome. Yeah, I also like the beach. Or you did some closings. Great job. You're really successful. Just admiring. Full humility, like getting rid of any kind of ego of, well, oh, wow, like, I wish I had that one day. Like, no, I'd just be like, that's cool. Right? Awesome job. Great. Keep up the good work. You're an inspiration. I shared my love for other people's success. And because of that, even though I had no success of my own, because I was nobody, people started following me because I liked them. I discovered one of the secrets to human beings is people will like the person who likes them first. So I want write this down as a number one note for when we're communicating with Facebook people, when we're communicating with strangers. If we like them, they will like us. So if we can find something about them, it's not about a volume game. In fact, each one of you being on the team is the volume play. You don't have to reach 100 people a day, but if you can go deep with 10 people, that's money. That's a relationship. That's all I've ever done is choose 10 people to target and go deep with that day. And it works. Because at the end of the year, you're talking about 3,000 people or 20, 2,500 people at the end of the year. And if they know you and you know them, man, it's unstoppable. Like that's a powerful relationship, very impactful. So again, the first secret is you must like them first. In order for them to like you, in order for them to find value in you, you have to find value in them and you have to share that value, because liking somebody and them knowing about it are two different things. We've seen that in the relationship world, the dating world, right? You can like somebody, but they don't know about it. You're still going to be lonely. So you've got to make sure that the person knows you like them. And the best way to do that is a comment that other people can see, because there's two things that people in this world are missing. They're missing that significance. That's why they're on Facebook in the first place. They're missing that significance, like people knowing how important they are. And they're also missing that security, that stability in their life. When tough times are upon us, financially, it's tough. So people get, they feel a little more unsafe. So we're battling those two things. Well, let's serve one by making positive comments about that person on their page or in a group, tagging them in a group, complimenting them. We're gaining some of that significance for them. We're helping them out, gain some of that. Hey, this is an important person, even though somebody else might not have ever thought that about them. Let's see what Masood said here. Of course, if we add more values to them, then they will definitely give us more values. Yes, law of reciprocity. This is a human law. This is a law of nature. As what you give, you get back, as within, so without. So if we're able to go and give the currency they're looking for, which is significance, and that's also what we're looking for, they're going to promote us more. They're going to allow us to post on their groups. They're going to allow us to share on their groups. So we're going to be able to work our way. And I used to call this social dynamics, but really it's what my mentor calls just being a decent human being. Give people what they want. If you have it in abundance, we can compliment, we can type. Let's give it away. Let's give it to people that really need it, that really want it. And that leads us to the second step. The algorithm has rules. Facebook is our friend, right? Of all the platforms, it's got almost 3 billion users. I could forget all of my other social media, and I don't think my income would change at all, as long as I focused on Facebook, because Facebook is also the target demographic. They're the older generation. These are people who are 36 years old to 55 years old. They have the money, right? TikTok is still a young audience. They're still in their 20s. They're 20s to 30s, but it's not the money havers. Now, LinkedIn has the money. There's no doubt about LinkedIn has the money, but LinkedIn's getting beat up every single day by people who are like, hey, I know you've got the money, give me some. And we don't want to be those guys. We want to be the friends who see value in the person and allow that person to start looking at us and say, well, who are they to see value in me? Is this somebody I should be working with? Is this somebody of status? Is this somebody who has something that I want? Let them come to us. Does that make sense? Now, there's a place for a CTA and everything. We always want a call to action. We can't be afraid to be like, well, hey, by the way, I got this thing I want you to come to. Check this out. Let's go to it. And that's the Thursday call. Hey, do you know anybody who's looking to find off-market deals and get money? Because we're going to this call on Thursday. I'll be there. I'm looking forward to seeing you. That's, it's just because you're a valuable person now, it's a lot easier. So Facebook's rules. The reason Doreen and I said, let's commit to Facebook is because it matters. Facebook matters. It's got all the people. It's got all the groups. It's super easy for us to niche in and dive in to build up friends list. It makes it super simple to communicate with people in the DMs. It's not as poisoned as LinkedIn is. They've got all these automated texts, right? It's just all the VAs are on LinkedIn doing it. Facebook's still untapped because it's really hard for people to figure out, because they will, if your profile doesn't have enough friends, if your profile doesn't have enough views, they're going to cap out how many messages you can send. If they're not a friend of yours, they're not going to let you send a certain amount of messages. So our goal is to be friends. Our goal is to attract people who want to be friends with us, give them reasons to be friends with us. And this may mean just creating one piece of good content a day. You can take ideas from the things that I'm posting and you can leverage those ideas, but I'd be very cautious with sharing anything directly, except for maybe once a week, because when you're sharing directly, now it just makes somebody seem like they clearly work for him, or that's, just what they do. It's not genuine. It's not authentic. Does that make sense? Anybody ever felt that before? Okay. So we're proud of the mission, right? I want you to represent the mission, not me, maybe Alchemist Nation, but the mission of what we're doing. We're building millionaires. Like that's the goal, right? That's what we do. And that's something you can attach yourself to without any shame, without any guilt. It's like, hey, look, I want to be a millionaire. So I'm building millionaires. That's how I do it. In order for me to get rich, I got to help 100 other people get rich. That's my strategy. We're catching this? If we can help 100 people get wealthy, look, we're gonna have 100 friends who have money who want to invest with us. Right? If you've ever questioned yourself, where do I get the money to invest? Well, the answer is in the 100 people you built. Right? As you help them get education, as you help them build through, they're gonna have the money to invest with you because they like, know, and trust you. You help them get there. The other factor to Facebook, if you post something and you're not getting views or likes within an hour, yeah, that might have been a lesson. That might have been a delete that one. That doesn't work. Try again, right? You're building your platform. Now, each one you engaging on my page and on Doreena's page is helpful because the community is seeing your name over and over. They're seeing you as a valuable person. So when you post something, they're going to follow you, which is going to help your status. So being seen in the comments, putting engaging, like interesting comments out there is even better. So I don't post very often, but I will post once or twice a day. So on those posts, be seen, drop a comment, make sure you got a like, drop a comment and make something engaging there so that people will be seeing you and saying, okay, like I get this, I see this. You don't want to say the same thing every time. I've been really impressed with Masood, by the way. So if you see Masood's comments, he changes it. It's genuine to him. He's looking at it as I want to be a millionaire. And he's like, okay, Walter, you're right. This is one more principle, or this makes sense, or I really like this one. He's not acting like the authority. He's acting like himself, right? He's out there saying, I want to be a millionaire. And this guy's, going to that direction. Thank you, right? Great share. So like that kind of authentic follower kind of instance where you're following today, but you want to also be guiding people in the future. So you're learning from us so that you can be that coach, so you can be that mentor. So what we're guideline of how to make Facebook your like most attractive friend, right? Facebook is, if you think of her as a girl who just wants everybody to get along, just wants everybody to spend as much time with her as possible, kind of like a mother, right? My grandmother was like this. So when I think of Facebook, I think of my grandmother, and she wants everybody to play nicely. She wants everybody at her house, right? She doesn't want anybody at anybody else's house. Don't go to YouTube. Don't go to LinkedIn. Don't go to Instagram. I want you here at my house. Instagram's like your aunt. It's nice you could be there, but I'd really rather you here. And Facebook's the same way. They want you to, when you're playing out there, when you're connecting with people, they want you to feel like you're in the yard of Facebook or you're in the kitchen of Facebook, and like you really respect it. We wouldn't break the glass. We wouldn't stomp on the grass. We would make sure that we're respecting the whole atmosphere and the people who are there. Give the algorithm what it wants. One, it wants you there. It wants you active. So hours spent on the platform are good. We know we're spending 2 to 4 hours a day anyway. I spend an hour and 40 minutes on Facebook, no matter what. That's even today, I still spend that much time on it as a content creator. And it's mostly relationships. My content takes me 5 minutes. I've already pre-thought. I know what I'm going to say. But it's the contact with other people that takes me the most time, the relationships I'm building. And then when we're in Facebook, we're thinking, okay, how do I say something that's valuable? And then how do I go out and reach out to other people and say something that's valuable where they're at? I start my day on other people's platforms. I reach out, I find out what they've posted, commented, seen, and I'm saying something on their platform about what they've done. And only towards the end of my time on Facebook do I finally come up with what the right post is going to be. Like only after getting a feel for what the world is doing, feel for what my community is doing, feel for the people I'm targeting, then I go back and I create something based on where their head was at, based on where I've seen them be, based on where they got the most likes, where their friends' heads are at. So like I'm engaging, I'm real, I'm having conversations, but the whole time I'm taking in information. I'm consuming, I'm finding out what can I make that's so similar, but unique and interesting, has gotten the most likes out of the people that I'm crawling across. The only way to do this is a human touch. Look, if I could automate this with an AI, I would have done that. We brought you in because you're human beings, because you're capable of that complex emotional thought of like, I saw this, I connected all the hearts and the likes and the responses, and I saw all the comments. This was a very engaging post. What was it about that? And just it sits up here. And then you go to the next one, and as you're engaging with people, you're seeing how they respond. Something happens up here called, there's a reticular activator in the brain, and the brain identifies what you're looking for. It will seek it out with all the information you're taking in. When you're looking towards building deep relationships, getting people, like liking people, like falling in love with people, when you're building deep relationships, falling in love with them so that they'll like and follow you, you start seeing things, you start seeing patterns. The subconscious mind can pick it up and you'll start knowing what to say. We know Facebook just wants to give people what they want. Let's read what Facebook is posting and sharing, and let's create more of that. I want each one of your platforms, your profiles, to be a space that people go to every day for motivation, for inspiration, for empowerment, for education, and do it in a meaningful way. You're getting graded not by me. You're getting graded by Facebook. You're getting graded every day by the platform. Are you winning? Are you doing well? Are you winning this game? And who would be interested in the secret to how I gained 7,000 followers in 3 months? Anybody? Yes? Facebook Reels. Facebook Reels. That was the secret. I posted 5 Reels a day, every day, for 60 days, every day. Some days I posted 12. Some days I posted 15. But in 30 days, I was able to put 300 Reels on that platform. So the Reels are the resource that I used. It was a noticeable difference. I went from 1 follower a day to 100 followers a day, to 200 followers a day, to 300 followers a day. And now it's slowed down to about 100 followers a week, but I'm not complaining. And it's because I was so in tune with Facebook every day. I'm in Facebook. I know what it's doing. When she made a change, I knew that new content she was looking for, she needed. So when I created a ton of content that was specific to Reels, and some of my posts have 2 million views on them, 1 million views on them, because I was the first person on the platform hitting it. Does that make sense? So the reason I share this is Reels are going to be very valuable. If you can post them, awesome, do it. They're going to help you build your following very quickly. And if you can't, just be paying attention to what Facebook is doing. Be improving, be reaching out. By reaching out, I was able to gain more followers. By reaching out, I was able to gain more friends. And that's how I built it slowly. I've been locked out of Facebook for an entire month before. I didn't create a new account. What I did is I went and I focused on my other social platforms. I focused on LinkedIn. I focused on YouTube, or I focused on Instagram. And I took the time to learn that platform better and really internalize the lesson of what Facebook was trying to tell me. They were telling me, don't do what I was doing. And at the first, they lock you out for 3 days, then it's 7 days, and then it's 2 weeks, and then it's a month. So if you get to the point where you're locked out a month, that means you were not listening to the platform. They take it very seriously. So just know that, like, my livelihood, and just like you, your livelihood is based on them liking us, right? Facebook liking our profiles. And so when I was locked out for a month, my income dropped significantly because I wasn't able to direct message. So I had to get much better at some of the other sides of the platform, some of the creating my own content side. I had to get better at reaching out to people. I was banned from groups. I got banned from groups, so I couldn't message or do any. I was a ghost as far as the groups were concerned, which made me feel like I had handcuffs. I was blind. I was impossible to do anything. So I had to learn a different way. And so what I would do is direct message people and have direct message conversations. And I started, I got banned from that because I was sending generic messages. I was sending too many in a day, generic messages. So I learned all of this the hard way. So when I say go slow, go authentic, go real, I know there's going to be mistakes. I know it's hard to explain what that means. I know it's hard to understand what that means, but it really is about being effective and not so much efficient. Like, how do I do more in a day? It's more about how do I do it right? How do I follow what Facebook wants me to do? And if you get banned from something, move to something else for a time and get really good at that. And if Facebook is not banning you, not warning you, you're probably okay. As long as you're still contacting people, as long as there's still relationships, people are starting to know you and see you. The CTA, the call to action, and the generic post are the biggest danger that we have. We can't do a call to action on our main post. We can't do a call to action on a group. Groups and main posts are about giving. It's about giving value, being rewarding to somebody else, making sure somebody else is really winning. And if they're not liking it, they're not sharing it, and they're not commenting, we know we didn't do it. Be willing to share your journey. Be willing to be humble. Be willing to be vulnerable. Be willing to not know all the answers, and be willing to just be that person who's like, hey, this inspires me. It's not, I'm not telling you, I'm showing you what inspired me. I'm sharing something that inspired me. By being that person, that's authentic. Facebook loves that. You can share what inspires you. You can share what inspires other people. And it's okay to say, hey, I saw this. I saw a lot of people were inspired by this and I wanted to share, right? Like, nothing wrong with it. And be that person. I share what other people like. And that's all I do. I share what I saw other people like. Most of the reels that I posted were of Jeff Bezos. They were of Elon Musk. They were of Grant Cardone. They were of Brad Lee. Like, they were of other people. That's why they went to $1 million, because those guys and women have nailed the messaging. They're better at it than I am. And I'm humble enough to say, okay, if it works, I'm gonna use it. I don't have to be good at everything, but if somebody else is creating better content than me, I'm gonna share that. Now, me as an influencer, I want to model it. I want to learn how to say what they say. I want to learn how to have that energy. I want to learn how to get, the way they move. But I also acknowledge that they did such a good job. I want to share that. I want to create that for people who would be interested in. And just by doing that, I didn't lose followers. I gained followers, because now I'm a resource. Now I'm the one person they can go to that they're like, I agree with the things he posts. I agree with the way he thinks. I agree with what he's doing. We're catching this? This, for each one of you, build an asset. Stick to one profile, no matter what. You learn the lessons, take the hard lessons. If Facebook, bans you, cool. You're building an asset. All those friends that you stacked up are an asset. Because if you have to start over again, you start with 0 friends, right? Nobody likes those 0 friend accounts. Everybody sees those and they're like, nope, not adding that one. Sorry. So those friends that you're building, those are assets, and you want to keep them. You want to keep those assets. You keep them engaged, keep them happy, keep them feeling supported, building relationships. When we post something new in Alchemist Nation, I'm going to let Dorina know to let you guys know. So you can reach back to your friends and say, hey, by the way, there's a new course in Alchemist Nation. Did you check this out? Free resource. It's a free lead magnet. Just one more free thing to say, hey, I saw this course. This is free here. Did you check it out yet? Right? The people you're already friends with, just building a relationship, people you've already brought to the Thursday call. You've already, had the conversations. Like, what else are you going to do? Well, here's a free, piece of info. Here's something I learned, and here's how I found it. Was at, Alchemist Nation. Check this out. Something I learned, and here's the link, right? And I wouldn't even drop the link. I just be like, here's something I learned on a course I took on Alchemist Nation. Have you seen this before? Have you done this before? This way, it's like totally value add, and they'd be like, where's this? How do I get that? Well, let them ask. We want to structure our sentences so they ask us how to get there. You're smarter than the algorithm. You can serve the algorithm better than it can serve itself. It still needs us to create content. It still needs us to engage with other people. We're catching this, right? You're an important asset to Facebook. You're an important asset to, obviously, to our company, because you can reach out in an authentic way. I'm only one person. I have done my very best to be to build deep relationships with our community for as long as I could. But now we're getting to the point of growing beyond what I can manage as a single person. And it would be unethical for me to stop serving more people, because there's a lot of people out there who still need help. So that's why each one of you is important. Each one of you building your community, building your team, letting people know about what's going on. So you're a valuable asset. The game is fun. You got to look at this as a game. Right? Every time I get a follower, I'm thinking I'm winning. Anytime I get one of those posts, when I finally hit post, I hit over 100. I was like, oh my God, like I hit over 100 likes. So like set those targets. I want to get a post that hits 10 likes. I want to get a post that's emotional and gets 10 hearts, right? I want to get those posts that get people to say maybe it gets 15 likes. Like, how do I do this? How do I get 20 comments on a post? How do I keep it engaging, right? Set those targets, set those parameters, and make it fun, because it is fun. Like it becomes a game if you can look at this as a game. But thank you, each one of you, for what you're doing. If it wasn't for you, there are souls out there who would not be getting to the next level. It can be uncomfortable. We have our days where we're like, should I do this today? But the answer is yes. There's somebody out there who needs to hear your message, who needs to be connected. And I promise everybody you bring through, I will take very good care of them. This is what I do. I want to serve, and you allow me to serve on a bigger level. So I appreciate each one of you. Thank you.